This is a fairly thick lead on this, and it's too thick and too big around to fit neatly inside those little terminals that I use on the PC board. So what I do is I just take my needle nose pliers close to where it hinges, and I will flatten the tip of this wire so that it can lay inside the connector and solder up easily. There you go. You get an idea of what I've done there. Okay. Now this part I almost can't describe. I'm looking at the diode sideways along the side, and I have the flat end oriented so that I see it at its thinnest, and I'm going to make a little bend in the tip about 1/4 of an inch from the end, and again about 3/4 of an inch from the end, so I end up with a bend that looks like that. And you may have to play around with this, but it's preformed just so that I can send it through the positive input terminal lead, positive input ring terminal, and send it right through to the terminal on the PC board. You could, if you want to, just make a jumper wire, but just to keep things neat, this is the way I prefer to assemble it. And so there you can see now how I've sent it through and soldered it to the positive input of the PC board. I'm not going to solder the ring terminal just yet because there's one more wire I need to put inside this barrel of the ring terminal. Right now I'm going to solder the anode of the transient suppression diode to the bus bar that joins the two drains of the power MOSFETs. So just bend it in there so that it runs in between the two MOSFETs. Put a little hook in the end of it so that I can send it underneath the bus bar and bring it back up over the top and create a loop around the bus bar. And with my needle nose pliers I'll send it down through. Takes a little longer because I'm trying to do it for the camera. So there you can see how I've looped the wire around the bus bar, and now I'm going to solder that into place. We're almost done. The last components to assemble are C5 and C7. C5 and 7. So here's C5, the 4.7 microfarad polyester film capacitor. Maybe I should zoom out and show you. Okay. I'm going to preform these leads by holding it, looking at it with the leads facing up. The right hand lead I'm going to bend towards me and down, about 3/8 of an inch away from the capacitor. And the lead to the left facing up from my point of view, I'm going to trim it to half of its original length, maybe even a little bit less. And I'm going to bend it on top of the capacitor, like that, and create a gap. So there's the way I've bent this capacitor, these leads. And this is going to allow it to sit right inside. Now I'm going to trim the lead that I bent over toward me, about 3/8 of an inch off of that. And this is going to set right in against the end of the case and into the ring terminal that sits at the corner of the heatsink. That's one. Give just a little bend right there because I know it's not going to sit straight. Alright. So that sits very nicely now in the end of the case. Alright. And next I'm going to prep C7. It does require a little bit of prep work. This is C7. 12,000 microfarad electrolytic capacitor. The white stripe is the negative terminal. You'll notice there's a big minus symbol inside that white stripe. It's not a mistake. It's not a dash. That's the minus symbol. The unmarked side is the positive terminal. Looking very closely at the end of this, you can see how the leads are riveted to the end of the capacitor. All right. I'm going to grip them close to the rivets with my needle nose pliers. Now notice they're not square to each other. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to twist it so that I've lined it up with the opposite terminal. I'll do the same for the negative. I'm going to twist it and line it up like that. Now, as I sight along the terminals, you can see they are in line with one another. You're going to see why this is important. Okay. Now, holding the capacitor with the leads facing up, I'm going to take the right hand lead and I'm going to grip it about halfway down with my needle nose pliers, and I'm going to turn it 90 degrees toward me, like so. That was the negative terminal. I'm going to do the same to the positive terminal. I'm going to grip it about halfway down, turn it 90 degrees toward me. When I'm done, it looks like this.